I'm seeing everybody. Oh, Jason. I just want to make sure Dallas is ready to go. I know you guys don't have your camera on. I don't need your camera on, but can you give me a thumbs up? Sick. Thank you. Awesome. So I don't want to take up too much of your time. You guys have kind of the easiest version of Workday in terms of hiring. So congratulations. That said, let me share my screen. Beautiful. So I am pretending to be Walter. So sorry. Pedro and I did a last minute switcheroony today. So I am Walter Arias as of right now. This is how you all will be able to navigate though, just so you see it from the manager's perspective. So you're going to hit this menu button over on your left-hand side. You'll see all of these fun things. HR is going to go over most of those later. You're going to click on recruiting. And right here where it says recent, it's going to show you all of the ads that your name is on, which is going to be really nice and sufficient for you. And then for the purpose of this training, we're going to use this ad right here. Great. This is your ad at a glance. You're really not going to pay a whole lot of attention to this little tornado looking thing. You're going to click where it says candidates. And that will show you every candidate in the pipeline, right? If you look here, just kind of at a glance, you've got a couple people in interview, you've got a couple people in screen. To save your guys' lives, you're going to click on the people right here in interview, and it will only show you those individuals in interview. From there, you can go and select your candidates. Fun fact, our recruiters now have a way to integrate scheduling interviews with your calendars. So call center, we are in for some changes. We're going to flesh out what those changes look like a little bit more for you coming in the next few days just to see what works best. But for the sake of this interview, we're going to interview Hillary Duff. Great, you've interviewed her. This is where you will come to see CIs and resume. I don't know why her CI is not there. It lives here. I swear I put one on there earlier. My apologies. But resume here, at a glance, boom, it's mine. Don't look at it. And then you're also going to have, again, that CI here. I'll show you this can, okay, great. So all of my CIs disappeared. My apologies, team. But again, they are going to live right here in other documents. So we'll go back. We interviewed Hillary. So we're gonna come over to summary and you can either scroll down to this activity tab and you're going to leave notes here. That's where you're going to leave notes moving forward. And so we're going to say, we liked Hillary. Please send background, whatever the note is that you're going to leave. And if you want, you can tag your recruiter for the sake of this. We're going to tag me. And here I am. Boom. That's the only place you can tag people is in the activity. So you'll post it. If you only want to look at activity, you do have a tab right here that will only show you activity. And then to give us the update, you're going to also be able to leave your interview decisions here. And then you will go ahead and do this action button. And you're going to hit move candidate. We liked Hillary. We want to move her forward. We're going to click drop down. We're going to click background check. You're going to hit OK. That will indicate to the recruiting team you now want a background check ran. Beautiful. You are now done with Hillary. You can hit this little X up in the corner. Go back to your ad. Go back to candidates. Go back to interview. Beautiful. Now we have Miss Brittany Spears. We interviewed Brittany. She's kind of weird. We didn't like her. We want to move her to rejected. We're going to hit move candidate and we're going to hit decline. Now, just to show you the different options you have, administrative, you're really never going to touch. That's going to be what recruiters use before any candidates get to you. You're really going to focus on candidate withdrew or client rejected. So just to give you visibility, we've got candidate withdrew or no call, no show. We also have client rejected. So this top one you're not going to use, that's going to be for those more fillable roles, right? You guys never really stop hiring. We're going to hit not qualified. We're going to hit okay. Great. Now say we've got one more in interview. Now we have Aaron Carter in there. And Aaron didn't show up. Oh no, what do we do? Actions, move candidate, decline. They're going to go withdrew, no call, no show. Now, I know a lot of us like to have people who end up walking in who previously applied. If that happens, you've got this fun little button here, inactive candidate. They no-showed yesterday, they showed up today. This will show you those people we've rejected. And then again, say Aaron didn't show up. We're going to scroll to activity. And you're going to say, hey, Caitlin, this person was, oh, great. Caitlin, walk in interview. Please send background check for CC full time. Great. One thing I want to make very clear, I know a lot of you guys are doing referrals right now. We aren't doing walk-in referrals anymore. We're not doing Indeed referrals. If you have team members who are referring their friends, their family, whoever to join the call center teams or the QA team, they are required to go to the career site to apply because now they have an option to say, I was referred by someone. Say, for example, uh, I don't know, say Sonia referred someone. They're going to put in that Sonia referred them, and then it's going to ping Sonia and make her confirm that she has referred that person. So they must do that because we can see it, and that's how we're going to make sure that we are being accurate with the referral bonuses and the referral program we're moving forward with. That being said, one last thing I would like to show you, say you're on your homepage and you want to look up a candidate. If you typed in Aaron Carter's name right here, it's not going to do anything for you. It's going to say no results. What you have to do is type in CAND colon and then their name. Okay, now it's making me a liar. Let's try.
He typed his last name as candidate, not Carter.
Thank you. There. Okay. Ron caught me in 4K. I appreciate you, Ron. So you have to type CAND colon to find your candidates first. And then a couple of notes I want to leave with you. 12:15 is going to be hard launch. Anyone on odd cycle is going to be in Workday for or starting Monday. And then one thing I want you to know is if you're going around and playing with Workday right now while we're still in that tenant phase, anyone who was hired after October 28th is not going to have any sort of mock account. They're not going to go live until next week. They're not even going to have a mock account until next week. And then last bit is everyone is going to be required to have access to both Okta Mobile and Workday Mobile to be able to clock in and out. So if any of your team members aren't actively using Okta for whatever reason, make sure you're getting IT tickets submitted so they can reset their information. But feel free to throw any questions in the chat. That being said, moving forward, please leave notes and feedback in Workday so that way, as we transition into Workday, we have accurate data representing our decisions. HR, take it away.
I've never
Cool.
seen CC so quiet in my entire life.
All right. What's up, guys? Good afternoon. My name is Ronald. For those of you who do not know me, I'm an HR generalist here working out of our branch in Austin, our headquarters here in Austin. I will be spending a good amount of your afternoon in this training going over some of the HR related tasks and things that you will do outside of Workday. For the sake of time, I am going to ask if you guys have any questions. We have some other Gs who are lingering here in the chat. Go ahead and throw those questions there in the chat. If we have time, we can definitely circle back towards the end of this training. If not, we will just be collecting a whole bunch of FAQs and making sure you guys get answers as needed. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'll also say it's a coincidence. I'm rocking my Dallas sweater today. I did not know I was doing training, but let's get into it. Cool. Can everyone see my screen okay? Are we all good here? Cool, I got thumbs
We
up.
see
Good
it.
deal. Preach. So I'm going to highlight some of the things that we've already discussed as Caitlin got us going here. But just starting out, this is going to be the first page you see when you log into Workday. Very user-friendly system. I will say as we go through, there's going to be multiple ways of getting to the same page, the same landing page. So for the sake of time, I'll probably show like one way, really quickly show you guys the other way, but we won't dive too much into those repeats there. But super user-friendly interface that we got here. Starting up at the top, I'm going to call attention to this butterfly, our beautiful green Debella butterfly. If there's any page that you're on, you need to get back to this home screen, go ahead and click on your butterfly. Okay, that's always going to be stuck up there in that taskbar. So go ahead and utilize that. It'll always bring you just back to this page if you are lost. On the left of that Debella butterfly is going to be our handy dandy menu options. So over here in our menu, again, this is going to be one of the ways that we can get access to certain pages here in Workday. I'll expand a couple of those. You'll have your personal times here. I'm currently proxied in, logged in as an employee, but if you are a manager, you will have a tab listed there for your team, be able to see your org chart, make actions and stuff going from that as well. And we'll see that here in a little bit. Going over to shortcuts, just tabbing over right there. This is going to be a personalized little dashboard for yourself. So as we start becoming more familiar in Workday, you find yourself running the same reports, going to the same screens here. You can go ahead and create yourself a shortcut by pretty much just searching what it is that you do. So we'll say, for example, you're reviewing your team's time as a freaking employee, excuse me. You just want to check your time off. You can add the time off shortcut here. So instead of always having to go into the time tab, locate time off, get to where you need to go, it'll bring you to the report just from there, that shortcuts page. Okay, cool. Closing out of that, I'm going to go over here to this middle section. That's going to be our search bar. This right here is going to be your bread and butter in Workday. Okay, this search bar, you can think of it like your Google search bar. It can pull up our candidates. It can pull up reports. It can pull up landing pages. Pretty much everything that we need to locate in Workday, you can find in this search bar. Let me make sure I'm not losing anything in my notes. So we'll say, for example, I'm still logged in as a person. If I wanted to just look up a particular person who's working here, boom. Okay, it'll be the same thing for you, the manager side. If you want to find someone specific to your team, you can start searching their name up in that search bar. It'll bring you to it. If you're doing something like creating an expense report, it's as simple as beginning to type expense report, and then you have all the options listed there. Now, if you don't know what it is that you're looking for, and and you want to see more options for like expense report, you can just throw a question mark at the end of your search and hitting enter. And then Workday will give you as many things in regards to the expense report that it can find that we have loaded in there. Cool. Awesome. I'm going to use my butterfly, get back to our homepage. Going over to the right, you'll have this bell icon. Most of us probably already know what that means. That's going to be notifications. So the notifications that you'll see under that icon will be any form of alerts, system updates, pretty much anything that you need to do. Entering time for last week, as you can see by the employee I'm proxied in. Excuse me. All things of that nature. These will be like more like personal related or like system related notifications that you'll see under the bell. And then to the right of that will be your actual task. Okay. So that little, I don't know what that is, a filing cabinet or whatever that is. That's where you'll locate your tasks. So things that you have been assigned to, things that you are going to need to complete, sign off on, do some form of action in Workday. You'll be able to locate that right there. In this task pane, I see you guys down here blocking my screen. You can look at previous things that you've done. So it'll be archives. If you want to see like, well, what actions or what tasks did I complete last week? You can looking at the archive task down there. Excuse me. It'll look a little bit different on the manager side too. I'll make sure to proxy in and we'll actually see some other tasks that we'll see inside of there. But this is where we're going to go to execute. Okay, so when we talk about getting your shit done, taking care of your stuff, we're going to do that out of our task option. And then off to the right, your little person icon, the little person up there, that's going to be you. So accessing that is going to bring up your account. One super cool thing about Workday, which differs from Paycom, is that you guys will no longer have two different logins. So you're not going to have to log into a manager Paycom to do all things related to your team. And then when you need to do stuff for your Paycom, you're signing into a different one. It's all going to be under one sign-in. Okay. So you can access your personal information by just going to the person in the top right under that view profile. And then as I proxy as a manager, I'll be able to show you guys what it'll look like with both of those sign-ins in there. We did okay so far? Cool. Seeing thumbs up. Appreciate it. So I'm going to stop this proxy and now I'm going to show you guys what it looks like as a manager signing into Workday. Bear with me for just a second. And I'm going to be Mr. Mark Johnson. Cool. How can I get you guys out of here? 1 second, guys. Yeah, there we go. Cool. All right. So now that I'm in here as a manager, my homepage still looks the same, just a little bit different. Now I can see things such as team highlights. I can access my team profiles just by clicking their names here. Scrolling down, I can easily get to my team's org chart just by clicking here. There's a couple other options down there. Oh, it's just like a person. So if I click on that My Team org chart, literally brings me directly where I need to be. These are all the people that would be reporting to me. Okay. I'm going to use my butterfly arrow, get back to my home screen. Cool. So then now when I'm in here as well, if I click open my menu option, now I've got things like a personal tab, my recruiting tab, a manager responsibility that you guys are going to have. And there's going to be that team section we talked about. Okay. So this means this is going to be the composite between your personal and manager Workday accounts in one. You have all those things listed under one account for you. Locating your team's org chart, that is going to be a big one, making sure our people are where they need to be, reporting to they need to report to. You can simply type up at the top, team org chart, excuse me. And selecting my org chart is going to make sure it's showing you specifically your team. If you select org chart, that's going to be the whole entire company, and you're going to have to start navigating all the way from Donnie where you need to be. So just by selecting my org chart, that's going to take you to your specific team. As you can see here in the top right, it's showing you the pathway of how you got to where you got to, if you do need to follow that back up. Okay. This would definitely probably be one of the pages that I wanted to save or bookmark if I know I'm going to be accessing it often. So up in this green bar up on the right, you'll have that save icon. This view has now been saved for me. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, yep, when I go over to my menu option and go back down to these save reports, there's my org chart. You could also save that as a shortcut as well if you wanted it to be accessible, listed up here. So when I say there's multiple ways of getting to where you need to in Workday, this is what I mean. You can make it as simple, as complicated, as you want it to. But now if I wanted to, I can just go menu, shortcuts, and there's my org chart. Okay, cool. Moving on, we're going to look at time and attendance for our team. So we are going to look at approving time, corrections, PTO, and things like that. Accessing that is going to be under team. We're going to go to our time and scheduling hub. Okay, and this is pretty much like going to be the dashboard, for your time and attendance. Okay, so all things time and attendance are going to live under your time and scheduling hub. So once you first pop in here, it will show you who's clocked. If you scroll down, this tells me who's clocked in today. The people we have in Workday 2, there's going to be a little bit of a verbiage change. They see it as checked in and checked out, not clocked in and clocked out. So I'm going to start trying to use that as we go through this presentation. So to show you who's checked in, who is not checked in, who should be checked in. As you can see, they have their schedules already built in Workday. So Carissa should have been here at 8 a.m. And it's showing us that she's already over 30 minutes late. It'll also show workers who is missing a meal or a break. So Workday's making it a lot easier and simpler for you guys to be able to review those times, okay, by pointing out the discrepancies against their schedules. We talk about PTO. Okay, so PTO is going to live in this team absence calendar. It's going to be at that bottom menu under time and scheduling hub. By selecting your team absence calendar, I typically don't mess with this unless you're looking for someone specifically. If you just hit OK, it should just take you to your team. Okay, and then from here, I should be able to see any request that's been submitted. When we talk about absence, that's going to be your PTO, unpaid time off submissions, things of that nature. Now, anything that's going to be outside of PTO, they're trying to use some form of like medical accommodation hours, things of that nature, that will automatically be triggered to go to benefits. But other than that, those requests will come to you guys here, and this is where you guys will be able to approve, reject, and see those requests either on the week, day, month basis. Okay. Cool. So let me try to get that. Now, editing time, reviewing missed time, exceptions, things of that nature. We will then go into the edit and approve time section located here on the left. From here, you can select your date range when you're looking to be reviewing the time for. Select when you want to start your day of the week. And then at this point, I don't mess with any of those filters. I just want to see who, it should automatically pull who's on my team. I'm going to hit OK. All right. So scrolling down here, this is going to be my team. What you see at the top in gray is going to be their schedule. We do not have any time. So none of these employees have times entered. No one has punched in. Okay. And as you can see, you got your error listed because they have discrepancies against their schedule. So if I needed to manually enter that time for my employee, for Carissa, I'd simply just enter the time. She got in this morning at, I'd say 8:03 a.m. She left at 1 p.m. Out reason being out. Comment, I can put something like forgot to punch. Or whatever the deal is. I hit OK. and then now we see that time has now been submitted for Carissa, this employee. However, I want to reiterate, this time has not been approved for Carissa. Okay, so all we did was submit the time, but I want to say that there is another, when we go to actual approved time, you would then have to like approve the entire pay period to lock the time in and send it off to payroll. Okay, so right now this is still definitely going to be an editable field for us. One thing to know when we are talking about approving time here in Workday, there is not going to be any more punch change requests. So employees can click on their time blocks, access their own time cards, just how we had access in Paycom. And they can go in and make edits to their time. It's going to go to you guys for approval, of course. But if you guys have gone in and approved the time for the day, you've already reviewed your team time for the day and locked it in, employees won't be able to go and edit time for that particular day. You would have to go in and put the time in manually for your team. Okay, same thing like when time cards lock, no one has access to the time cards because payrolls begin processing. It'd be the same thing. Your team members are going to have to send you an email, a text like, hey, I'm missing a time or a punch on this day. You guys need to come into this dashboard, locate that employee, and enter the time how we just went over that. Okay. It is highly, highly, highly recommended, okay, highly recommended that you guys are reviewing and approving all the time entries in order for them to be pulled over to payroll. We want you guys to be reviewing your team's time cards on a daily basis. Like set aside the last 5-10 minutes of your day, review time cards, everybody's punches went through, make the necessary changes as needed. Just so it's our responsibility as leaders to make sure that our team members are getting their pay. Okay. While it is their time to take care of, tracking their time, the time worked, the responsibility does fall on us to make sure they're getting paid for the worked hours. So daily, let's make sure we're going in and reviewing these time cards, please. Weekly at the least, but I'm going to say daily to just set the standard that way. Time cards are going to lock at the same time for payroll. So Mondays at noon, the week of payroll, you guys are not going to have access to the time cards. You cannot edit time. At that case, we'll follow the same procedure. You need to reach out to your the payroll team with whatever corrections need to be made. And if it is after, if you're emailing or reaching out to payroll after 10 a.m. PST on a Tuesday, there's not going to be a guarantee that the reflections are going to be made in that week's check. They may have to wait for the next pay period for those edits to be reflected. This is why we're encouraging you guys, it's strongly encouraged to review your time cards on a daily basis so we don't start running into that. Cool. Then we get into, we're going to get on time and attendance here. Switch gears. I'm going to bring us back to the home page using my butterfly. And we're going to talk about expenses. Okay, so creating expenses. So, cool. I might have to switch back and proxy as a employee.
You can do it as the manager.
Can I?
Submit expenses.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So now we're talking about expense reports. So for the people who need it, I'm not sure how much we use expenses in the call center side, but we'll discuss it just to make sure we're all on the same page about it. So creating expense is just as simple. I'm going to use my search bar to do this. And I'm just going to simply start typing create expense. Bear with me. I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. And I have two options here. Create expense report for pre-hire. We're going to create expense report. Right? Fairly simple. I'm creating a new expense report. I guess if I was using the same one I've used before, you can try to locate it under the copy. My memo, this is going to be, well, what do you create this expense report for? One that we commonly see is going to be, some food, things of that nature when we're traveling. Your company, you're just going to make sure that you have the correct LLC listed there. Okay, so just verify you have the correct LLC. The expense report day, fairly self-explanatory. The business purpose. So why are we doing this? I'm going to say we're doing training. and then the office or branch that the expenses are going to be charged to. So by clicking office or branch, I'd say we're going to charge this to the office, Austin office, and boom, gonna hit OK. Uh-oh. I got an error message here on the right. You must add payment election for expenses before you can submit an expense report. I don't know how I messed that up. The direct deposit. It's because we do not have, and we are still in like the testing phases of this. There's no direct deposit listed for this particular employee's Workday account. So what this message is telling me is like there's nowhere to pay out this expense because there's no direct deposit set up. Once we're live, everybody has their stuff in there. You'll be able to select your elections for where you want these expenses to go, whether it's going to be the same account your regular direct deposit goes through biweekly, or if you're going to have a separate account, you're going to want these reimbursements to go through. They will be able to add that. Will it still let me go through with the rest? No, it won't. Okay, I'm not going to get into the rest of that. I will also tell you guys the Workday app is going to be far superior than doing this online in terms of expenses. It's so much more simpler, so much more user-friendly than it already is here on the desktop version. And then typically you guys have your pictures of your receipts already snapped on your phone and stuff as well. You can upload directly out of your photo gallery. So I do recommend for any type of expense reporting, use the Workday app. It'll be much more easier for you. Let's go back to that. Cool. Last thing, and then we will start handing it over to benefits. I'm now going to show you guys just a few of the typical manager things that we do. Job changes, transfers, promotions, supervisors changes, things like that. Fairly simple in Workday, whereas Paycom, there's a lot of clicking, checklist assigning, and seat creations. We do not have all that in Workday. Okay, it's fairly simple, click and go. So we're going to say that we are going to start a job change for an employee. Again, multiple ways that we can do that. We'll say, for example, we are going to, I don't know, do a transfer. I can start by just selecting up in the top, job change. And that task comes up and I can edit it right here. By clicking on that, it's going to say, well, who are you doing the job change for? At this point, I can put my employee's name. Yes, I don't have an employee. Oh, I'm spelling his name so wrong. Interesting. All right, we'll keep using Carissa. All right, let's say we're going to do Carissa. All right, fairly simple. I hit OK. Walk through the steps. Okay, if you see the red asterisk, it's a requirement. You cannot move on to the next thing unless you fulfill all the required fields. When do we want this change to take effect? Just by clicking on it, everything becomes available for you to edit. I would select the appropriate date. Why are we making this change? If it's the supervisor change, if it's the promotion, if it's a transfer, that's where we're selecting that. I believe I said I'm doing, did I say supervisor change? I'll say transfer and move to a new branch. Do you want to use the next pay period? Select that when it applies. I'm going to unselect that for right now. And then we go through the prompts. Who will be the manager after this change? Well, which team will this person be on after this change? Right? Where will this person be located after this change? Selecting the appropriate branch that they're going to be transferring to. And then it allows you to start. I know I didn't change much, but are we keeping the same position as canvasser? Are they going into the sales role? Job profiles, a lot of the stuff will automatically like pre-fill in for you based off the position that they're going to be selected. So not much we need to change here. I would just go ahead and make sure all of it's correct, and then hit next. Location details, where are they going? If it's a new branch, I'm putting a new branch in there. They're 40 hours. I'm literally just walking through all these required fields, making sure the information is accurate. Most of this stuff does not change. Okay, here it's going to be important when we see company. Any guesses what we need to be put there? The correct LLC. Yeah, you guys got it. Same thing for cost center. Just kind of mirror the format that we're seeing there. Make sure they match, of course. We shouldn't see Damselfly up here. And then, Rev down there. Make sure the company and cost centers are matching. Well, next, we shouldn't have to mess with that stuff. Our compensations. If we're going to be making any changes to this stuff. Up here, you see there's no edible field. But down here at where my pencil is, I can click in this box. And then this is where I can make any changes to compensation as needed. I don't have any changes to make, so I'll hit next. Excuse me, I set on the wrong spot. Not under there, I apologize. It'll be down here under hourly. This edit allows me to change the wage. Okay. Well, next, this is just going to be the review. So this is all the options that we have selected. Of course, you just want to double check it again, make sure everything is buttoned up. And then if you did have any comments, requested by regional manager, I cannot type to save my life today. You can put that there. If you have any supporting documents that is going to support the job change, we'll go ahead and throw that in there. And then we are submitting. If we are not submitting, you can save for later. And I want to say that's going to stay in their task, right? Be considered an open task for you to go back and complete. But I, of course, recommend do it when you're ready to do it. Go ahead and get it submitted. All right. So now that we have the job change submitted, you see here we have confirmation. You have submitted. It shows you who's up next. You can select this view details options to determine and see what the job change or the particular task is waiting on. So right now under details and processes, I see this is based off from Mark Johnson, a process transfer for Carissa. It's in progress. I can view the detail. Viewing the details has brought me back to that. Let's see that. Excuse me. No! Did I just lose it? There it is. Cool. So I went back to my task under the archive section to show me things that I've already done. And her transfer came back up. Okay. So from here, I can go back to my process. That's what I wanted to see. And then this tells me who it's waiting on. So the steps have been completed. We're waiting for approval by manager. Then the receiving manager, where the branch is going to go, is going to have to sign off, the approval, so on and so forth. You'll be able to track the workflow for the change or task that you've submitted. Okay. Awesome. Another place you can get to that is just by accessing your team. So whether you're going to your team's org chart, and I can also find Carissa, find the employee. At any time you guys see these three little dots, it will bring up an action menu. And from the action menu, I can do pretty much all the same stuff. Okay, just a smaller menu option here. So see, there's my job change. I can transfer our job change from here. I can terminate from here, so on and so forth. I can even access their time and attendance, all out of the three little action dots that you'll see, and those follow you pretty much anytime you see the person's name in Workday. Oh my God, if I can close, there we go. Those three dots will follow you. I feel like there was another place I could have saw them out of here. I won't get too much into that. Okay. Last thing, and I'm handing it off, is going to be resignations. So employees can resign in Workday. They can voluntarily resign in Workday under their. Oh, it's so much different than we just got it. Under their own profile, so I just went to my profile on the top right. There is an option under that actions for the employee to resign. Okay. So that is something that's going to be a little bit new. I wish I could find it real quick. There it is. Job change. Resign. That is something that is a little bit newer. We have not seen that yet in Paycom. So employees can go and resign, and we'll create a task for you as the manager to still do like their exiting questionnaire, offboarding tasks, and stuff of that nature. But they don't necessarily have to walk up to you and quit. They can do it themselves in Workday. So I want to show you guys really quickly exactly how we would terminate an employee. Very similar process of what we just did for a job change. I can just start by tapping up at the top, terminate employee, or locate the employee at the org chart using the action item button. And terminate from there. That's just under job change. So really quickly walking through the termination.
Cancel that.
Yeah. So I was going to walk you guys through it, but I'll just explain it. One thing about Workday, it's not going to let conflicting tasks be open. So Carissa currently has an open transfer to another branch that we can see here. And I'm trying to begin a termination. As you can see at the top, you cannot initiate this action because there are other pending or completed actions for the worker that conflict with this one. So we must close or cancel the pending actions, or we have to rescind the completed actions listed below. So reverse what you did, cancel what you did, because it's not going to let you do, the two things at once. Okay. So for the sake of time, I'm not going to use Carissa because I don't have time to keep going back and forth. We'll use another employee just to walk you guys through what it looks like, the offboarding. Let's fire Isaiah Burks. Fairly simple step that you guys are going to be used to. We do need to select a primary reason, whether this is going to be voluntary or involuntary. Of course, all involuntary terminations are going to need HR approval. You should be talking to your HR rep before coming to the conclusion of hiring somebody. That's not to change your mind. That's just to make sure that we have all of our ducks in a row and it's not going to come back and bite us in the butt. So for voluntary, involuntary, you're going to select the appropriate thing. I'll go ahead and say here that this is going to be a job abandonment. Don't necessarily always need a secondary reason. I don't really know what's in there, so we're just going to leave that. And then we'll get into our details. When are we terminating? I'm going to terminate him today on 12/9. His last day work, if this is job abandonment, technically would have been Thursday the 4th, right? Pay through date is going to be important for our check in hand states. So for those of if you are doing an involuntary termination and you do have to make sure the person is getting paid at the time of, you could be able to set through the pay through date to pay them out through that paid suspension period until the check gets to the branch. So that's what we'll use that for. But if not, if his last day of work was 12/4, I believe I want that to match and pay him through 12/4 because he job abandoned up till 12/9. Make sure it makes sense. Okay. There is no resignation date because he hasn't given me a resignation date. But if he was gave me a 2 weeks notice, I can put this date, whatever that was, the conversation was had. Okay. We'll move on here. We don't want to ever close the position. Leave this box alone unless otherwise told by your HR rep, because you don't want to mess up the recruiting and backfilling for the position you're closing out. Okay. If you have any comments to support the termination, feel free to put that in there. Just know that that is going to be visible to everyone who goes in and access this termination. And then your attachment. This is going to be a requirement when you're doing your termination. You have to upload some form of documentation. If they gave you a 2 weeks notice verbally, ask them to text it to you. Ask them to send it to you in an email. Upload that to your Workday, right? If there's a witness statement, you got HR approval, whatever it is that we can attach here, let's go and attach it to the termination. So once again, all of our ducks are in a row and we're not scrambling around trying to determine why this person is not eligible for rehire. Cool? You'll go ahead and submit the term. You can see here, I already got an error. Why? Please upload evidence to support this termination. It will not let you do the termination if you don't have evidence. I'm going to throw something very random in here. Perfect. The call center script. Category. You can say exactly what it is. I would say this is. I'm going to put other because I don't feel like looking. I can upload that. Okay. Excuse me. This is already in there. I can submit it. Success. The event has been submitted. Excuse me. The termination is not done. That was only part one of the termination. Part two is right here. Complete questionnaire. You must complete the questionnaire for the termination to be fully executed. If you don't do this, it'll never go to your HR rep for us to actually begin the offboarding process, removing access, doing what we need to do until you guys complete the questionnaire. You can also access this questionnaire, if you don't know, up there in your task box. That's exactly where it's going to go once you get done on that previous page. So check your task box daily, throughout the day, and make sure things aren't getting assigned to you that you need to sign off on. And then this is asking you the stuff that we know. Did the employee provide notice of their intent to resign? If yes, how many days in advance? Hate to see this. And then there's no days in advance. We're going to say no, job abandonment. Description, the reason for leaving. Did not show back up after lunch on day one. We've all seen that. And then look here, job abandonment. Please provide the dates the employee missed work with no notice. Include proof of your attempt to contact employee during these dates. Text, phone, logs, emails. For other, please describe. So I'd say they missed 12/3 through 12/6. And what my document that I probably should have uploaded on the termination would have been me trying to text the employee, hey, where are you for work today? My call log of me calling the number on that day, and I don't have a response. That's definitely going to be support documentation. And then we're answering these questions. Not a sales rep, or yes, I verified the hours, and I do acknowledge the final check will not be mailed to the branch. They returned all their property. If it's a canvasser, it's probably something just like uniforms. Yeah. Okay. Not a sales rep. This is going to be FLIR cameras, sales kits, things like that. So this one's not going to be a sales rep. And then I have verified that this employee has submitted all business-related expense for reimbursement. That is somewhat new, but you do just want to make sure they don't have any pending expenses in that expense reporting dashboard. Now that I have this questionnaire submitted, now as you can see up next is the HR partner. Now determination has been forwarded over to HR. But if you don't do that exit questionnaire right there at the end, your termination is just sitting there. And then I don't know how it works for you guys, but I know on the branch level, the GM will get dinged for late terminations. Okay, and those would be considered late terminations. Right? Awesome. So that's pretty much all I got for us here. One thing I was asked to just reiterate is in Workday, there is not going to be like the ask here section where you can like ask benefits a question or ask an HR question just within the platform. You guys are going to have to start just reaching out to Debella at HR or hr@debella.us for any general questions that you guys may have. And then we'll get to you guys the best way that we know how. I know I ran a little bit over time. If you guys did have any questions, we will circle back to those a little bit later on. But benefits, take it away.
All right, can everybody see my screen? Sweet, I'm going to take that as a yes. My name is Kelsey. I'm the benefit assistant here with the HR department. So I'm going to go through this pretty fast to get you familiar with the enrollment process for our new hires. So just going over benefit eligibility, our benefit plans are available to all full-time W-2 active employees. New hires must wait to meet their benefit eligibility date, which is the first of the month following 60 days of employment. We do have 401k packages for our employees, but they do need to be 18 years of age and be with the company at least 90 days to enroll in those plans. So heading over to our Workday, the dashboard that everybody's really familiar with, the great thing about Workday is that the moment a new hire gets their credentials to get into Workday, they will be able to also enroll in benefits immediately. But again, those benefits are not going to be active until 60 days of full-time employment. So heading over here to the taskbar, this is one way the employee is going to be able to see that they can enroll in benefits. Down here, they will get an update saying change benefits for their life event. Once opening this, they can press let's get started, and I'll show you the secondary way an employee can see they can enroll in their benefits. Heading over to this menu drop down, heading over to benefits and pay. Right here on the first tab on the overview, it shows a task needing attention. It says for our new hire to start their benefits enrollment, and it also lets the employee know when they have to submit by. So I'm going to run you through how to enroll in a couple enrollments that the employee will see. So we'll click let's get started. Here's that main dashboard. This shows all of the benefits that DaBella has to offer. We have our medical, dental, vision, accident, health savings account that is with our silver plan. We also have the 25K life given to all employees at no cost, and any of the voluntary life or voluntary long-term and short-term disability that the employee can enroll in, and also additional benefit programs they can look into while enrolling. So heading over here to medical, let's enroll into a plan. Once the employee clicks enroll, they are going to be able to see a full breakdown of all three of the plans we have to offer. We have our silver, bronze, and gold plan. It shows the employee the biweekly pay out of their paycheck, as well as the company's biweekly contributions. So for the sake of this, let's hit the gold plan. We're going to select that and press confirm and continue. Here it shows the coverage as employee only. Now, if the employee wants to enroll their spouse or their children, they would just click add new dependent. They can also have their dependent be a beneficiary as well, and they can press OK. This will head them over to the screen to fill out all of their benefit information, especially for dependents. They do need to add their social security numbers on here to the system. For the sake of today, we're just going to enroll as an employee only. So we are going to save. And now this employee is rolled in the medical gold plan. We'll head over to dental just to have one more enrollment. Again, it'll show the dental plans we have to offer, which is the high and the low plan. And it shows what the employee will pay biweekly as well as the company contribution. So we will select, we'll do the silver, confirm and continue. We'll keep it as employee only. Now, for what's great about Workday is the employee cannot move forward unless everything is filled out correctly. So they have to add a beneficiary to the 25K life insurance. So we're going to go in, add a beneficiary. We're going to select confirm and continue. They're going to click this plus sign. We're going to go down to add new beneficiary, add new beneficiary. And we're going to fill out a mock person here. We'll put other. All the asterisks do need to be filled out to move forward. We do need to add the address as well. And then additionally, you will need to put the percentage that the beneficiary will get if it were to be used. If you have multiple beneficiaries, it can be spread across to different individuals. So we are going to press save. And now we have a beneficiary saved to the life insurance. Taking a look through everything, we're going to click review and sign. This is going to be a summary before they can press submit of all of the elections the employee wants to enroll in. It shows the cost breakdown as well as when the coverage is going to begin for that employee. So they can take a look. They can also see all of the coverage that they have waived. Down here at the bottom, again, it shows company contribution and the employee contribution. They'll have to press accept and then submit. Once they submit, it'll bring them to this page showing them their benefit statement. This shows everything that the employee has enrolled in. They can download it as a PDF or they can print it directly from here. Now, let's say the employee they get hired on day 2, they make all of these elections, and then within the month, they're like, oh, I want to change something before my deadline's up. They're going to have to reach out to mybenefits@dibella.us because we're going to have to rescind all of these so the employee can go back in and make changes. So that's just one thing that we're going to be working on throughout the year, but please let your employees know any changes will have to come through us. Additionally, if our employees are already hired with us, they cannot make any changes to their benefits unless it's the annual open enrollment. And but let's say they experience something called a qualifying event. They have 30 days from the date of that qualifying event, such as they get married, they get divorced, loss or gain of coverage, or birth of a child. They'll have to go in, and I'm going to show you how your employee can submit a qualifying event to either enroll or make changes to any coverage outside of the open enrollment period. So we are going to get out of this. We're going to go back to our home, back to our benefits and pay. And here, we're going to click Change Benefits. So this is the section that they can make changes via a qualifying event. This will show the employees all of the different qualifying events that they can enroll in. And again, everything needs to have documentation, and it has to be submitted within 30 days of the documented event. 31 days or any time after that, it will be denied. So again, they'll just click, let's say it was a birth or adoption. We'll say that this child was born on the 8th. It'll say the benefits that the employee has, and it will also tell them when they may need to make their elections by on here. The last thing I want to go over with everybody today is these really great links that you can give to all employees. We have our benefits website linked on the side. If you click here, it'll bring you over to basically our benefits guide, but as a website. It's really easy to digest. It's very easy to read through and understand everything that DaBella has to offer. It has your enrollment information. It has all of the different medical plans we offer, the cost breakdown, as well as the coverage levels of what they can expect when they enroll in the different plans. All of the different voluntary elections they can make, such as the insurances and accident protection, employee assistance programs, and additional benefits like our Pets Best. And then lastly, back over here, we do have the 2026 benefits guide linked directly on here so they can download it. And if you guys have any questions or your employees need any help walking through anything, please have them reach out to us directly at mybenefits@dibella.us. We love to help everybody. We know healthcare is a very individualized situation everybody goes through. So we're here to support you guys as well as your new employees. And I'm going to pass it on to Denise as we're pressed on time.
Hi, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes. Boom.
Perfect. Thank you. Alrighty. So my name is Denise Rincon. I'm your benefits specialist and leave administrator. And I'm going to walk you through the required steps for submitting a leave of absence, whether that's a personal leave of absence or an FMLA request. So in this case, I have Minnie Mouse here. She's the employee who's requesting a leave of absence. So what Minnie will have to do is through her portal, she will have to click on the menu side, left-hand side, and then under personal, she'll have to click on manage absence. Okay. And then she will go ahead and elect the days that she requires for her leave of absence. In this case, she is requesting from the 15th next week until mid-January next year. Okay. We'll do that for now. And then she will click request absence. And then this box will pop up. The type of absence Minnie is going to elect is going to be a leave of absence. So she was going to click here. If this employee is eligible for FMLA, meaning if this employee has been with DaBella for over 12 months of employment, they will see an FMLA leave option that they will have to click on. But in this case, Mini hasn't been with Dabella for 12 months. So for her scenario, she's going to have to click on personal leave and then continue. Okay, this is going to be an overview pop-up of what she has requested via what she entered in the calendar. So again, it's a personal leave of absence. The last day of work will be Friday, 12/12. The first day of absence will be that Monday, 12/15. And then the estimated last day of absence will be 1/10/2026. And then she's going to go ahead and click submit if everything looks correct. So that has been entered. Now, per company policy, any leave of absence, FMLA, that the employee takes, they must request time off if they have any paid time off available, which we can see here that she does. She has 73 hours and 73.92. In this case, she will have to exhaust that concurrently with her personal leave of absence. So she will enter those days there and then proceed, and that she will be done. So in this case, let's just do 40 hours. Let's say she has 40 hours, just because I know we're running low on time here. So she's going to do request 4 days. The type of absence for this specific request will be a time off because she's exhausting PTO. So she's going to click PTO time off and then submit. Perfect. So Mini is done here. She's done her due diligence. She applied for personal leave of absence and she's exhausting her PTO. So she's done. Now I'm going to proxy in as myself as the absence partner, just so I can approve it so the managers can see what it will look like on their end. So I'm going to stop proxy here. Okay, and then this is my absence profile. I'm going to go ahead and look for her, approve it real quick, and then we will go to the manager's profile. Minnie Mouse, there we go. Last day work 12/12, yes. Personal leave, everything checks out, approve that. I'm going to proxy in. Sorry. As the manager, which in this case will be Walter. There he is. And now keep in mind that the employee requested the leave of absence that I just approved. So Walter will be able to see that in the notifications box here, pretty much saying that, hey, your employee is going on leave of absence. So here it is, absence request Minnie Mouse. Walter will need to click on the hyperlink to review the leave for Minnie, last day worked, personal leave, estimated last day of absence. This is very important for the manager or the supervisor to review on a daily basis because it's giving you a heads up of your employee being on leave for a duration of time, right? So you can plan for coverage for your department. So very important, check this on a daily basis. Now, after that, Walter will need to approve Minnie's PTO that she submitted concurrently with her personal leave. So to do that, the manager, Walter, will have to click on My Task inbox. And he will see the request right here, absence request Minnie Mouse. So click on that. And he's going to be able to see that she submitted 40 hours for the full week. So he can review and approve. Okay. And that's that on Walter. Another way that Walter can see this absence is through his calendar under menu, manage absence. If Walter goes to switch worker, he can search Minnie. And he will be able to see her calendar through here as well. Okay. Absence from the 15th until January, almost mid-January. Perfect. That will conclude my training on leave of absence. Any questions? Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time, you guys. That will conclude the training, the Workday training for today.
Denise, I did want to hop in for a second. Just, I know looking across, a lot of people do not have their computers, so you don't have the ability to type and submit questions as we were going through. Just, I guess, as we're here, we don't have another training started. I guess, in respect to you guys' time, was there anything that anyone wanted to address while we're here? Perfect. Here we go. Let's get it.
All right, so I noticed in the workflow, when we were doing the termination, it said, is all hours reported in Paycom? Obviously, this is taking over for Paycom, I assume, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it would just say Workday at that point?
Yes, sir. That's a really good catch. That's, I guess, missed all of our eyes. that needs to be updated. Thank you for that.
Yep. Good catch, bro.
Anyone else, or can anything else wait? Anything pressing, pertinent? Cool, awesome. Well, we appreciate you guys. We appreciate your time today. We are looking forward to this change. As you guys, we go live. Odd cycles go live on Monday, and then even cycle LLCs will go live on the 22nd of December. We can expect first payroll checks to be processed. I want to say it was January 2nd, if I'm not mistaken. So let's do it. If you guys need as much support, we're here for you guys. Be there for your teams. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you guys.